Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Let me turn my volume down here. I hope y'all are doing well. Give me a second. I need to make sure I'm heard clearly. All right, I have a mix minus issue. Give me a half a second. Fix that. All right, there we go. No echo now. Let me confirm that here. Letting it catch up here. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? I decided to use a different camera today. I hope y'all are doing well. Thank y'all for joining me. This is Q&A with AJ, where we try to stream every Friday, where we try to answer your questions and all this other fun stuff. I'm going to switch over to here for right now, but I'm gonna try and start using this camera a lot more. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Let's see. We got Josh, Mike, Anthony, Shane and Hannah, New Christian Memorial Church, Simply Nene Jackson, Adrian, another Josh, Daniel, TEWCTVLLM, hello, the Chuck Taylor. How y'all all doing? Oh, you know what I didn't do? Me trying to rush. I didn't share this out and put it all on social media platforms everywhere. Give me a half a second to do that, and then I will get right into it. Darren, hello. How are y'all all doing? I hope y'all are staying warm and safe no matter where you're at. Prayers out for those in Texas dealing with that interesting, serious weather down there. Thankfully, we've just had some ice and stuff like that, but it ain't nothing us Virginianers are not used to, at least you would think. I still remember going to school when we had blizzards and they didn't shut the school down, but hey, I guess either people got soft or they just trying to be cautious. I don't know, whichever one that is. All right, so we out there, shared out there now. Hello. Dalen, hello, everybody. AJ, I'm going to call you David. I'm sorry, I don't want to pronounce your last name wrong, but thank y'all so much. Again, I got everything shared out. I'm doing something a little bit different. I normally don't do this, but make sure that y'all hit that like button. I have noticed a significant change in videos being pushed out to more people when you like the video, so you'll be hearing more of me asking y'all to do that. I really would appreciate that. Also, I already mentioned it, I don't do spoilers. So please, nobody put no comments for the people who have not watched WandaVision. Don't ruin it for nobody. I really hope y'all are doing great. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. If you haven't, don't forget to join the Facebook media group. We got some awesome stuff that's coming down the pipe, and you don't want to miss it. And it's like this every Friday, but it's every day in the group with ministries, over 2,000 media ministries all over the world. Just go to the link below or go to Facebook and look for Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, and boom, that's it. That's all you got to do. Brother Art, Monty, Richard, Anita, Shane, hey, everybody. If you have a question that you're not able to get to or you need some more detail, excuse me, make sure you email me at questions@ajhomes.com, and I would do the best that I possibly can to help y'all out. Let me give y'all a couple of updates as well. What I'm deciding to do is for patron members, I'm waiting to see if I can do this for YouTube members, but my Patreon supporters, I will start recording our roundtables, and they will be made available for y'all can always watch after the fact. That's just another thing I want to give to Patreon supporters at above, yeah, let's just do it at $1. That way, anybody can chime in. I'm gonna start doing that. We don't have a roundtable this week. We got one next week. We're gonna start doing that there as well. And like I said, thank you so much. If you don't know, this is AJay the CEO. Make sure you got that. You like the video. Make sure you got notifications on. That way you don't miss anything that's going on. And before I get started, I can't formally announce anything yet, but a couple of y'all were a part of something and y'all shouted me out and recommended me for something. So we have some news coming down the pipe. I can't say anything until it's official. But those who know what I'm talking about, please don't spoil it. I will make an announcement and let everybody know. So in other words, enough of me blabbing. Let's go over here and look at some of the questions. We're going to start with New Christian Memorial Church. They want to know, what are some of the best camcorders you use for live streaming as a second and third camera? I actually have a video that was kind of old, and I still recommend it. I'm sorry, I see a blemish on my teleprompter, and I don't have my, oh, there it is. There we go. I did a video about it, and it's actually still the best cameras right now. For budget, it would be, well, let me add some more to that. It depends. Do you need control of these cameras? If you just need a static shot, we have the AJay Imaging HD 100A. That's a good one. It's a good POV shot. If you need control of the camera, I would still say the Canon R800 or the Panasonic V770, or the next one up is still a 1080p camera. But then if budget is not an issue, I would also go for the Canon G50. Those are great cameras. And then after that, start looking at PTZ cameras from AJay Imaging or PTZ Optics. Wink, wink. If y'all can read between the lines with that one. Those are good cameras for that. The PTZ Optics and the AJay Imaging ones, you need to daisy chain that or have a remote to control those, and that will work good for you. Hopefully that answers your question. Boom. All right, let's see. What's the next one we got here? Daniel wanted to know, with the announcement of the A10 Mini Extreme, does it make OBS obsolete? I would say yes and no. It all depends. Right now, I have the A10 Mini Pro ISO right now, but I still use vMix to live stream because the A10 Mini can't do all the functions that I want, like these graphics like this. I mean, yeah, I could route it through a DSK, have it green screen, layer it over top. I could do it that way. I say this, it doesn't matter which type of tech you use. As long as you develop or update your workflow, either one of them will work. So I am looking at getting the Extreme ISO, because I know for me, I started all this with the ATEM Television Studio HD. So I had both of my monitors plugged in, my streaming in there. That's 3. I already have 3 cameras. That's 6. And I still have 2 other cameras left over, including my iPad. So that's 7. And then I also have another camera. So that would be 8. So I know I would use all of those inputs, as well as I would have to change my workflow. So it all depends on how you would do it. If I was going to use that solely at a church, me personally, it depends on the budget. You can change your entire workflow to do everything through the ATEM. So if you have an intro, what you would do is have your presentation software play your loop with your music, route that through the ATEM, let that be the first thing that's shown. And then because it has dual HDMI outputs, what you could do is have one HDMI output configured for your multi-view, have the other HDMI out go to your presentation and everything that's inside the sanctuary as an aux out, so they wouldn't necessarily see what's going to the live stream. Again, this is just running through my mind based off of what I saw. I really need to get my hands on it to get more detail. But no, I'm going to do very much in detail reviews from a church perspective, from a ministry perspective, if I, when I get one. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Also, back to Daniel, he wanted to know, will the camera buttons on the Extreme work with any camera? Honestly, I don't 100% know, but I can take a guess. I would say no, because I have a Pocket Cinema camera right here, and the controls inside of the ATEM software currently only functions with that one. So like if I come over here to the camera, even though I have multiple ones here, my gain is only controlling this camera, and the gain for my computer is what you're seeing. That ain't doing nothing. So I think it's a protocol that Blackmagic has that communicates commands over HDMI. So I know the Blackmagic line supports it. I doubt anything else, because these are functions, just are extensions of this, because this is the version 8.6 that they talked about that has that functionality built into it. So I don't believe so. Like I can switch over here to my overhead camera here as well. And will that change anything? I'm changing the gain right now, and that's not doing anything. If I hit autofocus, that's not doing anything either. So I don't believe so. I don't know who is trying to call me right now. Yeah, so I think that's it. And I still have my save key on that I need to turn off. Maybe I shouldn't have put this screen all the way over here, because I'm looking over here like crazy. Let's see. Darren says, recently switched to Vimeo Premium as we are getting muted by YouTube even on licensed material. We are currently using Wirecast. Any thoughts on the live stream studio that comes free with Vimeo? Yes, it's trash. That program is 100% garbage, and it has not been optimized unless they've done an update recently. The system I'm on right now is a Ryzen 9 3900X with 32 gigs of memory and RTX 2070. When I run the live stream studio on this system, the video and the audio gets out of sync, which is ridiculous, because this is more than enough power to do that. My live streaming system is a Ryzen 5 3600. Used to run a GTX 1650. I have a Radeon 7 in there right now, which is giving me a little, I think it's going to go back to my Hackintosh, because I thought it was going to give me some more power. But even with the 1650, I don't have issues with Vimeo, vMix or OBS, but I put Live Stream Studio on that acts up as well too. I personally think it's not optimized for AMD processors, as well as it's not optimized for AMD GPUs either. So, but we'll adjust some of the other stuff that you have as well too. Now, this might not be a question, but I'm gonna get to your second part. The muted from your YouTube stuff. I'll just let everybody know about this, that whole system that scans stuff is not 100% accurate, because people have been exploiting that stuff. I've had churches, like I think I use some music that I have the license to, but what's happening is it's a bunch of cowards out there who are registering music with these firms that are not verifying, and the people who are registering saying this is my song, they don't own the song. It's registered by somebody else. And these companies are just take their money, because I guess people are thinking they're going to make money if they hit your channel and they're getting ads or something off of that, ad revenue, because that's what happens if you get hit with it. At least that's on YouTube. I don't know how that is on Facebook. But I think a lot of the people who are laying claim to this stuff are really lying about some stuff. At least that's been my experience the last couple of times I've experienced any of that. But just going back to your original question, I'm getting ready to get Wirecast so I can play around with some more. All I had was Wirecast at the very, very beginning when they gave a light version for free for YouTube. So that's a long time ago. I wouldn't mess with Live Stream Studio, to be quite honest. I've had nothing but bad experience. I've tried it over the last 3 years, and every time I've gotten it, it has been horrible. So I would stick with Live Stream Studio, OBS, or vMix, to be quite honest. All right. Sean, hey, what's going on? Good morning. My 1-year-old niece loves the intro music. Another musician in the house. Awesome. So I already answered that question. Let's go to page number 2. Let's see. Got a lot of stuff about. All right, we got Zion Hills TV. They want to know, how do I create lower thirds with OBS? I have a video on that, actually multiple videos on that. The easiest thing you can use is the free animated lower thirds plugin for OBS. That's the easiest way. That's what I've been using. I did that with Ash Wednesday that I had to produce for a bunch of churches at my hometown, and it works great. And that's the easier way to do it. Let's see. What else we got? Got a lot of folks helping each other out back and forth in the group, which is cool. Like I said, good morning. Back to TEWC TV. What is your budget to create a perfect live stream? Well, that's subjective. It all depends on what my goal is. I'm going to just use me for an example for what I plan to do in the future. I like my Pocket Cinema camera. Me personally, I want to go to all Blackmagic devices just because I can control everything with that line. So Pocket Cinema camera 4K, I don't know if they're going to get rid of that soon, or they're going to keep with that and just do the 6K. But I want to have a couple of those, maybe 2 of those. And then I would honestly say for me, I could see throwing maybe 10 grand into a perfect live streaming setup. That's just for me. I need to know what the recommendations are you talking about. Now, if I talk about my other company, Formation Sports, where we live stream games, I would honestly say it would probably be maybe $25,000. And most of that is going to be for redundant backpack, dedicated cellular bonding internet that can broadcast everywhere. And then I can also set up a network, have people with shoulder mounted cameras on the field or PTZ cameras running fiber optic cable to each one to control them. That's what I would do. But again, the bulk of that cash is going to be mainly for the internet in remote locations. That's what I would do. And for a church, honestly, you want to, like, I'm going to quote some of the stuff that I'm doing for churches coming up. Like, I'm doing a 3-camera system, 7 65-inch 4K TVs throughout the church, redo the entire network, Wi-Fi throughout the building, custom computers and video switchers and all that other stuff. You're talking about maybe $14,000 to $17,000, and that's with labor. That's just me. So again, it's subjective depending on your needs, but that's what I would do. Dylan here. What's up, AJ? Thanks for the music. My daughter has been having a ball with it. Hey, I'm glad she is enjoying it. Now, I must admit to this comment, I like Vimeo, but I will be the first to admit I think it's too pricey for the average person who wants to do more secured live streaming. I mean, honestly, I'd love to get some type of partnership with them or something to, encourage them to maybe drop it by like 25% or 30% or something like that. I would love that. So Vimeo, if y'all listening, hey, I will endorse you to the high heavens if you can help houses of worship get your product and use it, because I really like it, and they've added so many other features that make it deals with a lot of the issues that I did have with it, but still liking it. Man, Shane's talking about Edmonton is a lovely -8. No, thank you. No, thank you. Man, I hated those times when I was in the Marines and we had to be outside in the cold and then had to be in a tent out in the cold. Man, no, thank you. Remind me, I need to get a Gore-Tex coat and gloves. Augustine, what's going on, man? Danielle just said that he just ordered his. Awesome, congratulations. I saw BH Photo had them up for pre-order, so you could go there. Let's see who else has them up. So like I said, we got BH Photo. Oh. My keyboard is not plugged in. She's on wireless. That'll give me a better. Let's see. So there. Yeah, you can pre-order here. As you can see, it's in my cart, just waiting for me to pull the trigger. Adorama. This stuff. Get out of these pop-ups, man. ATEM Mini Extreme. Yep, they're available there. Okay. And who else? Marker Tech is another one. ATEM Mini Extreme. Okay, they're there too. Now I'm gonna give away my my secret that I had back in the day when we were trying to get access to the ATEM. That is 3 Rivers Video. Great guy that runs that out of Pennsylvania. I don't know if they have them up yet. Yeah, he doesn't have them up yet. But all the places when I was getting the ATEMs, when they weren't available, this is where I was getting them from. So I just gave y'all my secret. Let's see. All right. Adrian here. I currently use vMix Pro at my church to live stream. Despite the fact that I'm using 4K cameras, the resolution that I can use is 640. Is that because I need a graphics card? No, it isn't. vMix Pro. Yeah, I don't. Hold on. Let me confirm. I can't remember it. Normally, it should just be a setting that you need to change with that. I'm looking for the comparison. If anybody in the comments knows this faster than me searching for it, please help one of our fellow media folks out. There it is. There's a comparison table. All right. So if you got the Pro, yeah, it's a setting. You need to go in there and adjust. I don't know. Do I still have it on this system? Yes, I do. So this is the trial on this system. So normally inside of here, you have to set when you set your standard of what you're going to live stream. You would come in here to new, and then this is where you would have your option to set where your stuff is going to be. So try and make a new preset, and then see if you have that option for a higher resolution. And then we got kids running up and down the hallway right now. Ronnie, I got a YOLO box to review. I do not have it anymore. I donated it to I did it as a giveaway to somebody here. So what about that and an ATEM Mini together? Yes, it could be used together. That was my plan before I ended up giving it away. I was planning on using that for its ability to be hook up to my phone and do all that. But the ATEM's latest update, the Pro and higher, actually lets you use your phone, which I've actually tested, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. You would run the output from the ATEM Mini into the YOLO box, one of the inputs, and now you have more inputs as well as all the features of the YOLO box. So, yes, it could work. All right, Darren, thank you so much for becoming a patron. I really appreciate that. Anthony, let's see. Is there a way to have more than just the 4 lower thirds in OBS with the animated? Yes, I actually did that. You actually can save it in memory slots. And honestly, the reason I haven't talked about it is because I'm able to make them, but I couldn't delete them. So I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, honestly, the way I deleted them is to completely purge everything in the settings and then make them all over again. So if I cut over here, all right, so as you can see, these are all the lower thirds that I have. So I got 9 of them. And let me go to the meeting that I was doing. Let me turn this off. So I had a bunch of these, so you could program them in here, and you can make them any way you want to. So as you can see, it was storing those settings in here, and it changes them on the fly. And honestly, you could come over here and make them yourself in the code. If you come over into main settings and then do a export, so it's going to copy all this code. And if I paste it, you actually probably want to use Notepad++ because it'll format it better. Let me close this so y'all can see it. All right, so Notepad++. And why didn't it do it? Anyway, as you can see, inside of it, it has your alt names and all this other stuff in here that you can code it that way if you wanted to and import it. That's how you can make more if you want it, and my picture was in the way. So yeah, if you don't, if you like the text, once you read through it, you get a flow. That's how you can actually do it. It's really straightforward. But more importantly, inside of the software here, all you really had to do is go ahead and create something. So I can just say, like AJay, and then AJay the CEO, then hit that memory slot. Boom. Now I can go in here and do Arthur Holmes. Please don't call me Arthur. And then I'll do here. So now if I was going through these, I'd have memory slot number 1. Then there's AJay, but then I have memory slot number 2, and there's the other one. That's the easiest way that you can do that. So hopefully that helps you. Connor here. Getting distortion from my soundboard to my ATEM Mini. Would you know how to get rid of it using female XLR from a soundboard? Honestly, the issue that I had after jumping through everything, it ultimately ended up being my cable. I ended up buying these like the last couple of days after I got my Rode because I was still getting the same issue as well. Another thing it could be is just that your gain is too high on the input on the ATEM Mini. That's another thing that you might check. Let the mixer do all of that, and then don't do a gain standpoint. Just do volume, not gain, inside of the ATEM. If not, honestly, I would check your cable. I switched through everything. I've gone through 4 mixers, and I still had the same issue. I've gone through 3 mics, still had the same issue. But the only thing that stayed the same was the cable. Once I changed it, I don't have any issues anymore. I would try the gain. If not, try and switch out to a different cable and see if that would help as well. All right, we got Phantom Hacker. This is the man has changed his name to Phantom Hacker. Yeah, I'm good, man. My pastor took over the editing of the church videos, but it looks like, oh man, I could do better. Do you have advice to me to tell him that someone else needs to do the editing? Let's see. How can I? And I guess this is getting more into the mindset, and I deal with this in some capacities as well at my church, is just because people have done it doesn't mean, well, let me put it this way. I've always told people that I don't want to be 80, 90 years old still playing on the piano. I want to teach and give that, teach what I know to somebody else so somebody else can take up the mantle so that I can step down, because I'm not going to be here forever. And that being said, I would just come in from a standpoint of like, hey, let them still do it. But that doesn't stop you from doing it as well, too. You could do it for your own. I mean, there's no law that says that if you have access to the videos, you can edit them as well, too. And honestly, I just think let the audience or the church dictate that. Sooner or later, they will get it. But I say still stay up on your craft. Don't be deterred, even if somebody else wants to step in. Because especially from a pastor standpoint, I'm a preacher's kid. I'm like, just like in the Bible, Moses didn't come off the mountain to fight. When he lowered his hands and started to do what the soldiers were doing or not doing what his responsibility is, the children of Israel started losing. And I think that's kind of like a lot of pastors, and I know this from my dad's perspective, it used to be that a pastor would honestly need to know how everything functioned inside the church. And it's getting to the point now you can't do that. You really need to depend on people to handle different aspects. Like the nicest way possibly I can say, I told my pastor, I was like, look, I will let you know everything that you need to know about the media ministry. I will keep you updated and everything, but do not come in this booth and do not try to come up here and touch buttons. Respectfully, I said that because I need you, your skill set. God ordained you to be a pastor, not a video editor, not a audio technician, none of that stuff. If it was, you would already be here. So we have to lean on each other's strengths. So it says there are many members in the body. The toe doesn't try to be the heart. The heart doesn't try to be the kneecap. Let people use their gifts and talents the way it is. And I mean, that's just me. Independent, say it with tact or something like that, and just explain the concerns, not from a condescending type of way, just being like, look, I know this is my skill set, Pastor. Let me do this for you, because I want to contribute to the ministry. This is the gift that I have, and I want to use it this way. That's me. That's the angle that I come from when I'm dealing with anything like that. So hopefully that helps. Phantom Hacker. I was going to say, somebody says, hello, Uncle AJ. I was like, what, my nephew's on here? My niece is on here? But they're saying hello from Ghana. Well, hello to you. Let's see. Jack Wolf, hello. Let's jump over here to Newton G. What are your audio settings in the ATEM Mini software control center for your dynamic microphone from the Rode Rodecaster Pro? Sure, I'll just show you. That'll be the easiest thing. So let's go ahead, turn that on, cut over, and I need to turn that off because that's starting to get annoying. Give me a second. I need to come in here and turn that persistent thing off because it's getting on my nerves now. All right. So for my settings, for my Rodecaster, if I come over here to audio, mine is just, oh man, they added some new stuff. That's new. Microphone plus plug-in power. Wow, that's new. I didn't notice that till just now. But anyway, my Rode is plugged into mic number 2. So I'm just using line. That's pretty much it. And then from an audio standpoint, this is what my audio is set to. Man, I need to do a bigger tour of what's going on with the ATEM software, because it looks like they changed a whole lot more than what I thought. So hopefully that helps. And at first I was looking at this comment. I was like, are you talking about the AJay UTAP? Or is it talking about me? Do you think the Sony a7S III will work great with the ATEM Mini Pro? Yes, because I'm using, that's in the vein of the ZV-1 that I have here as my overhead camera, and it should work perfectly fine. And I need to tilt this. There we go. So yeah, I think it'll work fine as long as you have a clean output. Have it with power. Mine has a USB cable connected to it, so it's always powering it, so it doesn't drain my battery. And just make sure you have it with plenty of air so it doesn't overheat, because I know a couple of people, they've used this camera and they put it in positions that it can't breathe and it will shut down because it's overheating. Anita wants to know, can you run vMix on VMware Fusion? You should be able to. For those who need to know, that's a virtual machine. Can you run it on that? Yes, you can, as long as you have the proper inputs to where it can detect whatever your capture card is, whether it's a hardware one or if it's a USB, you have it routed to read your USB inputs. Technically, it should work. As well as you have enough power and GPU or CPU dedicated to that virtual machine, then yes, it should work. Okay, wait a minute. Somebody's telling me something. Press and hold the memory slot, right click, and it will flash, and that will delete them. No code needed. Man, thank you so much, Papa Midnight. Let me jump over here and let's test that out. See, this is I learn from y'all just as much as y'all learn from me. So we're gonna. Oh, wait a minute. I know it did it there for a second. Read it again. Make sure I'm not doing it wrong. Press and hold the memory slot, right click, and it will flash. Yeah. It'll flash, and that will delete them. No code needed. Okay. Oh, thank you. I was thinking too hard. So if I come here, do this. Man, that's kind of finicky unless I'm doing it completely wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with that some more. Let me know. Maybe am I overthinking this? But let me know. See, Josh talking about only when I get old can you call me Arthur. No, the only person that calls me Arthur are people who don't know me, or my mom when I was in trouble. She would call my entire name. Honestly, my dad was named Arthur. That's why I'm a junior. AJ, that's where that comes from. But my dad was called Arthur Jr. because his dad was Samuel Arthur, and he was called Arthur. So my dad was called Arthur Jr. when he was growing up, and that's where AJ came from when I came along. So there, you got some more info about me. Yep, Mike got it. Yep, see? That is exactly true. Kevin Hardy, hello. How are you doing? Connor. Awesome. I'm glad to be of help, whatever we talk about here. Like I said, Kevin, hello. Augustine, here we go. In your opinion, what do you think is the best way to increase engagement for church live streams in 2021? Is to teach people to stop spamming. That's the best way to do engagement, is to also educate them that live streaming is not a novelty. Because, you know, a lot of people, it's a state of training a new habit. You know how people were like saying, "Oh yeah, that's cool." You had man, I'm still forgetting some of them now. You had Alta Vista, you had Hotbot, that's what it was. You had Bing, you had Ask Jeeves, you had all these search engines, and then there's Google. But guess what? It became a habit, because now when people search for something, what do they say? Oh, I need to Google it. They don't say I need to go look it up on a search engine. That they've habitized, turned that into a habit. And what we need to do from a church standpoint is the live streaming. Yeah, it's a habit now that we can watch from home, but we need to develop it to where this is a ministry tool as well, to where now, just like we used to send missionaries to go to different places, that's what you are. That's what your watch party is. When you're sharing that on Facebook or something like that, this is an evangelism tool, but we need to educate people to know the power of it, the impact of it, the repercussions of doing it right and wrong. The consequences of doing it right or wrong. And then knowing that, hey, just posting it with no context is like you putting up a flyer on a billboard, on a pole, a light pole or a telephone pole, driving up and down the road. And that's spam. The engagement is when you get the people who use it, who are behind it, to understand the significance of it. And then they won't treat it like it's a toy. They'll understand the significance of it. That's just my personal opinion. Shane, we're still meeting online only, premiering Sundays on YouTube. What's the best way to build engagement? Should we look at other platforms? Honestly, I would say send it out to as many platforms as you possibly can at this point, because I did that originally just to find what the engagement was, and I narrowed it down to the platform that our members were. But at this point, I'm going back to putting it out everywhere, because you just never know how people have found you. Like this weekend, I mentioned it before. Thankfully, there's a subscriber here that I've never directly communicated with, but out of all the videos, they learned how to transform their media ministry, and they've become an example where they're at, to where they're having a church conference this weekend talking about the importance of media ministry, and they contacted me to be a guest speaker. Never met them at all. And then there's other people I hear from Instagram, all these other platforms. I just signed up for a Clubhouse and all this other stuff like that. I like to put the message out everywhere, because I say this before, like, your ministry, you're going to be ministering to people that you're never going to meet. And if I'm teaching that, why don't I do the exact same thing? My whole thing is hopefully y'all are getting some type of input, some knowledge that I can help y'all in any way, shape, or form. And instead of me limiting myself to one place, I do it everywhere. And I know I'm on my soapbox right now, but I want to be careful on what I'm doing. And honestly, and ways of building engagement is the modern digital version of word of mouth that works best, because as I can promote something, but most of y'all have been around me long enough to y'all know me, so y'all trust what I'm saying. Your friends trust you as long as you give context to it. Like I'm not going to spoil this, but this is my example. Y'all listen to me about computer stuff. So if I recommend something, that helps you bypass the concern, the skepticism, because they're like, okay, this dude has proven himself. If he recommended it, and more importantly, he's using it, I have an example, so I don't think he's just going to rip me off. Something like that. You bypass skepticism. When you are a member of your ministry and you recommend something with context, not just throw it in front of them like spam, you are bypassing the skepticism of other people, and their guard is down and they're willing to engage without the skepticism. I think that's really what it is we need to share appropriately instead of just throwing it up and just pressing a button. We need to put some context behind what we do, and ultimately that will grow the engagement. That's my opinion. Daniel, pastors who don't have people interested has to do what needs to be done themselves. I completely agree. Now, all I'm saying is, in this case with Phantom Hacker, it's somebody that you do have, and it's another thing for pastors got to do what they got to do. It's another thing that pastors can't let go of what somebody else can do, delegation. That's another issue that, like I said, I've been in church the whole time. My dad used to do stuff like that because, unfortunately, had a history of people saying they're going to do something and they don't do it. So it's kind of like put up or shut up type of moment. That's what I had to do with my pastor. He's had a lot of people that probably said, I'm going to be here, and they fall by the wayside. But I'm like, no, I'm different, and I show you that I'm different, and it's 15 years in that I've shown that I'm different. So I completely, I don't want to negate all the pastors who are wearing extra hats. It's mainly that when somebody has shown that they're going to do it, let them do it. That's all. Donnell, you mentioned getting more Blackmagic Pocket cinema cameras. Would you get more 4K or get the 6K Pro? I'm not interested in the 6K Pro right now. From a cost standpoint, to be honest, I would go with the 4K because I don't need 6K right now. If I did buy a 6K, it would be more for business, and it would just be as a secondary shot, or it'll be my primary shot, but that would be the purpose. That's what I would do. So if I was to buy it right now and I have no business need for it right now, I would go with another 4K. If I know that business is going to go in that realm where I need to start doing more high grade, high resolution content for churches that hire me, then I would go with a 6K. But I'm not at that point right now. That's why, honestly, if I was going to do that, I would buy the ATEM Mini Extreme just to have for reviews. But me personally, I would go with maybe the ATEM, because I'm using a dedicated live streaming system. I would go with the ATEM Television Studio 4K, and I would have everything going 4K. That's what I would do if I really was trying to move in that direction. Okay, Papa Midnight says, once it starts flashing, leave it. See, I think that's the thing. I'm letting it flash, but when I let go of the button, my right mouse button, it gives me that menu. So I don't know. Oh, now, see, that's Okay, so I had to let me show y'all what I just did, and I'm getting it to repeat now by me doing it this way. All right, so I have to let me make sure I pick another one that I don't need. Well, it's not like I need these anymore. So I had to right click on it and then move my mouse away from it, because when I was leaving my mouse here, I kept getting this menu. So I right clicked on it, moving my mouse away from it, and it still blinking. Then I just left click on it, and now it deletes. That's what worked for me. It might not be the right way, but I was able to delete 4 of these, and that's how it worked for me. But thank you there, Papa Midnight. I appreciate it. New Christian Memorial. I'm at a funeral and I can hear the audio. Okay. Did I miss something? I got y'all. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. I missed your comment here. The lower third plug-in is no longer working. Do you know why? That could be a bunch of things. Look at, are you getting any pop-ups for logs or anything like that? Make sure your main is on at the very top. So from here, make sure that the main is on, because that nothing will work if you don't have that on. So like right now, if I turn this on, as you can see, I'm not getting anything. That main needs to be on before it will work. But if you're getting errors, it should tell you an error if that's the cause. I need a little bit more info about that one. Russ here. Discovered your channel a little while ago, and I love the format and sites you share. My first chance to watch live. Hey, well, thank you for joining. I'm glad you're getting something out of the content. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate all the stuff that y'all are doing. I really, really do. Enoch. So Comcast is acting up. Now before I go into this comment, I am really happy to say I'm assuming this. I see a whole bunch of Verizon Fios people digging up the ground and laying some fiber optic cable a street down from me, and they already did some stuff here in the building. So hopefully I'm already on the wait list. When Verizon Fios is here, I am going to 1 gig up and down, which last time I had it was $79 when I was living in a house. So I am looking at it. The only reason I say that because I'm getting an error on YouTube saying and not enough data is being sent, but my computer is perfectly fine, so it has to be my upload speed. Anyway, back to Enoch. Hey, AJ, one of the church have asked me to help them with guiding them to doing live in church. Presently, they are only using mobile phone. They want to have a system with a fixed camera. Okay. I don't see any follow-up to that. If they have an option, honestly, the easiest way is to go with an AJay Mini Pro, because you can throw whatever camera you want to, and it can live stream from that. And, well, if you're using a phone, you can tether it and use it to live stream off of that. But, again, I don't know the budget. So if you have some more, oh, I missed it. Your comment was right here. It went to the next page. Their budget is $1,000 for all. They don't have anything as of now. Honestly, AJay Mini Pro and a Canon R800. That'll be enough to get you by. That should be right at around maybe about $20 under $1,000. That would be the best way to go, but it will set them up for the future. They don't need hardline internet with the update. They can run their mobile phone into it, tether it, and you should be good. Yep. And your next comment kind of says that, so that's what I would recommend. Back to New Christian. I may have to ask you on a consultation. I'm hoping you're replying by text. If you're sending me a text, somebody was blowing my phone up. I normally, when I do on this, I ignore it. Oh, man, my friend is silly. Yeah, you could do that. Also, let me let y'all know, if you didn't know, if you are a Patreon supporter, because I still can't do this on YouTube, it's against the terms of use. If you're a Patreon supporter, I actually put out a discount code if you want to do any consultations or if you want to buy anything from me, from computers or something like that. I do a discount code that I think is, I can't remember the percentage, it knocks off that you can use for your booking consultations with me. And that's another way I can give back as a thank you. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you didn't know that, I post that every month. Started this year to make it a lot easier for ways to do that. So that's another benefit if you wanted to do something like that. Samuel. Do you have a tutorial using GStreamer plugin on OBS? I have not heard of that, so no. I'm trying some camera, and I've heard of the plugin. It's wonders. No, sorry, I have not used that, but I'm going to have to look into that, add that to my list of things I need to look up. Jack Wolf, wondering, have you ever tried the Zoom dual monitor feature? I just found it the other day. It will come really handy. Yes, actually. Yes, I do. That's how I did the video talking about how I set up the a look similar to TD Jakes, how he does it. And the meeting that I did for our Ash Wednesday, that's how I used it to get me a full screen so that I can have it clean for when I'm sending people on there. But yes, sir. Where is my mouse? There it is. Adrian, in church, do you ever have to constantly adjust the audio when it comes to what I call roller coaster voices? They start off. Yes, my pastor does that. He starts soft, goes loud, up and down. So most of the time, If I'm in the media booth, yes, I do adjust it. But most of the other times I'm down on the pulpit playing. So I always adjust that in editing after the fact. And honestly, it depends. It depends who's in the booth. Some people, monitor that. We have other people who are not very good on the soundboard, so they just leave it as is. They don't understand that hearing it with your natural ears inside the sanctuary is not the same thing that's coming through the system. So I'm still trying to train people on that. But yes, I deal with that all the time. Exactly what you're talking about. Dalen, trying to understand why I would invest in any camera higher than 1080p output resolution if the highest we can stream. No, I mean, I understand, Dylan, that's the same thing. That's true. For me, the reason I would go higher than that, me personally, not from a church standpoint, me personally, is the price that you pay for our TVs. I would never recommend anybody buy a 1080p TV because 4K TVs cost the same as 1080p's now, and it's a waste of money. That's the reason I would go with that. For me, because of editing, I would go with a 4K camera because a 4K camera shrunk down to 1080p is always going to look better because you have 4K is 4 times 1080p, and the sensor is capturing so much data. So even if it's at 1080p, you're going to have a great picture compared to 1080p. But also, I use that camera because I use it for editing. I do video for shooting commercials, documenting stuff at the church. I want the highest resolution I can possibly have that's affordable. And honestly, we bought the Canon G20s at the time when we did this stuff at our church like 6 years ago. Those cameras were $999. They were 1080p. The G50s are 4K and they're $999. If that's your price range, that's what I would go with. That's just me. Now, overall, I do not recommend going with 4K PTZs and stuff like that because it's pointless. I have a purpose for why I'm using it is for taking it off the stand and doing other work. If I do not recommend streaming at 4K because you would need to have 4 times the amount of upload speed, processing power. You have all your equipment needs to be 4K, and then more importantly, YouTube takes it, Vimeo takes it, Facebook don't, and no one on the other end, everybody on the other end would have to have 4K too with the download speeds, everything faster, so they'll never see it. So yes, I'm in agreement with that. I would only recommend 4K if you plan on doing video editing and taking the camera off the stand and doing other stuff. That just prepares you for the future. If they're stationary and you're not doing anything like that, yes, 1080p all day long. Back to Daniel here. Our church seats 75 people and the sanctuary is small, but I want to do a 5-camera shot for our streaming, covering the pulpit, organs, drums, keys, and audience. What do you think? Awesome. I would say, do you need to remote control those? Because I still have the... Where's it at? See, I still have this AJay imaging one, the HD 100A. I would use this as a POV shot. So, have this, on the drum shield or in the drum area and just have it stationary and boom, there's your shot. So stuff like that, it was cool. Are you talking about cameras that you can control? Because the only other camera that I really want to add at my church that's controlled is maybe something near the baptismal pool, a lot closer. That's just me. Honestly, I really want all of them to be PTZs so only one person can control everything, but that's just me. But let me know. Diana, hello, and we would like to replace our old cameras. We have 3 cameras, and we would like to have them with autofocus and auto tracking. Also, a way to control them from the live stream booth. Yes, those would be PTZs. You have 2 options that I like personally, that I've used personally. That's the AJay imaging PTZ cameras or the PTZ optics PTZ cameras. Both of them work exactly the same way. Get serial connection or IP versions. They do cost different, but you can hook them. If you get the IP cameras, you can put them on your network, and your joystick can just be on the network, and it can find them. If you do the serial ones, you have to run a connection directly to one camera and then daisy chain them off of each other. But either one of those work. I have tons of videos where I actually talk about that. We're going to be getting in a PTZ camera soon, so I can show you in depth of how to use it. If you look at any of my videos from Good Shepherd Baptist Church, that's when I use the AJay imaging, and then also Signs and Wonders, and then Spring Creek Baptist Church. That's where we install those. Samuel, is there a plugin in OBS to dual stream Facebook and YouTube for Mac? Is there for? I'm not aware of one right now, unfortunately. Chris. Hey, thank you. Now, I'm going to let y'all know, Chris is somebody, I've been knowing him through Facebook, through a couple of groups we've been on, and I'm going to actually bring him on. He's an up-and-coming, awesome man of God doing preaching and all this other stuff online, and I'm actually going to be having him in on an interview coming up soon, so be on the standby. Thank you, Chris, for stopping by. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. AJay, we have a Canon 80D and a capture card. How much internet speed do we need in OBS? How to stream without lagging? The lagging can be two things. It could be your internet upload speed, which is a minimum. You need at least, for 1080p, you need a minimum of 15 megabits per second for upload consistent. Like mine is 10, and you see it's bouncing around here, so now it's good right now. That's Comcast. But then your lagging could also be because of your computer. It's not fast enough to handle what you got right now. So I need some more detail. What system are you using right now? Jumping over here to Richard. Is the lower thirds plugin available for the Mac? No, unfortunately, it is not. Yeah, sorry about that. I think some of the people in the comments for the forum, for the guy who makes that, they're trying to work on stuff like that. But to my knowledge, no. James would like to know, can you use dual screen when using Chrome Remote Desktop? Yes, you can. You just have to scroll over in your mouse and it will go to the next screen. I can't do that right now because my dual screen system for my church is right there that I was working on. So normally I would remote in and let you see it, but I don't have any way to do that right now. All right, back to Daniel. He said he only needs to control the pulpit and the audience. All right, so honestly, I think these little cameras, the AJay imaging HD 100s will be perfect for that. I mean, you can put it on a regular tripod. This thing ain't even a pound, so it's not going to be very heavy. It is HDMI only, but so you could, now somebody has told me that the fiber optic HDMI cables are good. I am going to try one of those, but normally I would say convert this over to SDI and run it and then convert it back. But if I get my hands on one of them and test it out, we'll see. Again, I don't recommend anything I haven't personally used, so I'm on hold for the HDMI fiber optic cables until I test it. Robert here. In your remote service with Zoom, you mentioned a Rodecaster. What if we don't have a dedicated soundboard when working from home? What's the best way to route audio from Zoom to OBS without additional equipment? That would be the VB audio cable. That is a digital cable, and it's just software you download, and it would do the exact same thing. In my original video that talks about how to route audio, that's what I recommend, and that does work on Windows and Mac. So that's VB audio cable. Let me bring that up so anybody has any questions about it. VB audio cable. So here it is right here, VB audio cable, and it just adds that, and it gives you the same functionality. The same stuff that I did would work, but I would honestly recommend go look at the video on OBS that I talk about that, because there's a couple of things that you need to change for this to work, but it will still work the exact same way. So hopefully that helps you. Man, we got a lot of folks today. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Try and get as much as we possibly can. Robert, I already answered your question. No, it's that lower thirds plugin is not available for the Mac. Robert would like to know, what program am I using to add comments on the screen? That is vMix. That's the reason why I cut over to them. vMix has it built in that can bring this over. Sadly, vMix does not bring over comments from Vimeo, but there are other programs that you can bring stuff in that goes natively with OBS that works on both platforms, but it can only pull from YouTube. It doesn't pull from Facebook. So I don't know. That's H2R graphics as well. Is it possible to multi-stream in OBS? Yes, with the multiple RTMP plugin, but it's only for Windows, unfortunately. How can I capture all audio channels from our mixer to Skype? I discovered that not all the channels are captured. That sounds like that's a sound issue with your mixer. Like right now, I had to turn it off. I have mix minus on my board. If I didn't have that on, you're hearing me talk through the mic and you're hearing my computer echoing what I'm playing. So it was giving an echo. So I had to do mix minus the USB from the mix. So it sounds like, I don't know which mixer you're using, it's like it's only sending one channel and it's not sending the full mix from your board. I will need to know exactly what board you have to give you a better answer on that. Brother Art, Streets of Destiny. You asked last week about the Chrome desktop not hearing audio through desktop. I discovered the audio, however, my speakers are at full volume and it's still low. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Should I add external speakers to hear the Chrome volume? Yeah, I don't know about that. Check the volume. Now, you said you have your volume all the way up, but do you have all your volume all the way up on the Windows mixer for the source? So your speakers might be maxed out, but is the volume for like the given program all the way up as well? That's another option you can check. After that, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that one because I never really had a problem with that, so I don't know. But I know there's no direct sound option with the Chrome Remote Desktop. Diana, I actually used one when I redid my chapel at my church. Let me see if I can find exactly which one I ordered. I'm looking at my history here on Amazon. Okay, this is the one that I put in our chapel. That was actually last year. So yeah, so this is the one that I use, and it works actually very good. And it was actually, I didn't do this. I don't know why I was charging that much. I got mine for actually $120 when I bought it. But that's the one that I've used, and it works very well. Not as much latency as I was concerned about. I still wouldn't use it on a camera. You might want to look at the Hollyland ones for that, but they are more expensive. I use this just to send a feed to the TV for scripture, lyrics, stuff like that, to where it's not any video that needs to be sunk or anything. But that's what works for us. Otis, what is going on, man? I hope you're staying warm down there in Texas. Back to Jack Wolf. Will you ever be doing installs, consultation internationally, overseas when COVID is over? Yes, Lord. Yes, I will. When it is open, yes. Yes, I will. I am looking forward to that. Let's see here. My laptop screen keeps going black when connected to an external monitor via HDMI. I have an HP Gaming 15 GTX 1050. It keeps going black. Have you tried different cables to have the same thing? Or it might be the jack is loose. Or something might be loose on the inside. Unfortunately, it might be that the HDMI is pulling loose from the motherboard. I hope not. But check the cable first and see, or try another monitor. Hook it up to a TV if you can, and do you get the exact same thing there? All right, back to the original question about getting all the sound. It's the Yamaha 166CX. Let me see. I have not directly worked with that, but let's see what we can find on it. And again, thank y'all so much. If you haven't, while we're doing this, make sure you hit that like button, please. It helps so much on the channel. So are you, actually, is it the Yamaha MG166CX? Because that's what I am seeing. And that's similar to the board. No, actually, no, it grouped a bunch of pictures with me. All right, so if we look at this, this is the board. Come on now, I want to zoom in. So what are you coming out from? I would probably recommend coming out of record out up here from the red and white RCA into a 3.5. And then this looks similar to a board another church I was talking with. There's a, I need a bigger picture of this, but there is a configuration of what you're sending to the record out. But again, I don't know what output that you're using, but there should be some option that you can use for that. Streets of Destiny, I'm gonna jump over to you because I see your comment. It's a Mac. It's something with the settings. The Mac is kind of funny with their settings. It's the audio at the top that you need to adjust. But I believe they still had a volume the same way there. My Ryzen Touch is offline. I don't have any memory in it right now, so that's why I can't use this. But I might have to run to the store and get some memory, and then I can get it back up so I can try and help you. Jack Wolf wants to know, do I know how to get TeamViewer Wake on LAN working? I want to be able to wake up my... Yeah, I did this a long time ago. First off, your motherboard has to support it, and you have to turn it on in the BIOS to support it. And then there was actually a little program I used to use. And if nobody knows what this is, Wake on LAN is a way that you can send a command to your computer, even if it's off and it's connected to the network, to turn it on. And it was a program I used to use like in college that I used to do this all the time. Is this it? Yeah, actually, this is the same program I used to use in college for this. It's Wake Me on LAN, and it will detect, and you can send a command to do it, to open it up. But you need to make sure that the computer supports it mainly in the BIOS. It's turned on, so that way it can accept that. I haven't done this in a while. I might want to play around with it to see if it still works. But that's what. Make sure you have that setting done there. Paul, I just recently started watching your videos as they are easy to follow and understand. Thank you. What's your email? And I'm supposed to email you to help on an issue we're having. Thanks. Well, Paul, my email, just like anybody else's that needs to get in touch with me, is questions@ajayhomes.com. That is how you can email me and reach me, and I will do the best that I can to help you. But like I said, tomorrow, thankfully, I thank God for this, that I've been asked to be a guest speaker for a conference in Jamaica. That's not until 5:30 p.m. So I have a consultation tomorrow, but then after that, once it goes to like 3 p.m., I'm getting my mind set for that. So hit me up, and if I don't respond to you on Saturday, I'll try and get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I'm supposed to be going back to Greater Works on Tuesday to finish up some stuff there. I had my networking stuff, but all this weather has messed up my deliveries. I was supposed to get all the networking stuff, the Unified Network stuff for Pastor Alicia's church to finish up everything, but it is stuck in Utah because of the weather, and I'm actually checking it right now. Hopefully it'll get delivered because I want to do a video on that full setup. We're using a Dream Machine as well as a switch and an access point. And I still have no update. It's now in Indiana, but I have and that was effective of 12:25 a.m. this morning. So I don't know. I need my stuff so we can, because if not, I'm gonna have to push it back to another day. Dylan, considering getting a Stream Deck with OBS, just want to know if I can set a button just to switch scenes, or do I have to use one button per scene? Yeah, you can do a combination of both. I have mine at church set to a certain scene, and you can get more detail like that. And even with the Stream Deck, you could use Companion app to do even more stuff if you need be. Excuse me. But yeah, that should work great for you. Back to the issue with the laptop, excuse me. Laptop works, but only the way the screen just goes black, but the monitor remains on. Hey, I would say download the latest update drivers for your GTX 1050. Do that, and then see if you're still having some issues, if you haven't already. Back to the Yamaha 166CX. That is the mixer. We use the aux send to take audio to Skype. Honestly, I would say use the record out. Try that one, and then you can connect it directly to whatever over the line in going into your computer. Try that and see if you're having a mix issue, because your aux send has to be configured to what you're actually going to send over the aux. Because normally your aux could be, I just want to have the keyboard and musicians so that they can hear it, and that's not for everything. So yeah, if you're using the aux, you have to configure it. So most likely all the other channels that you need are not set for your aux. Otis, there's my answer. More info coming soon. Now, Clarence, when you're adding chapters in the file, are you asking about adding chapters on like YouTube or natively in the video? Because that's all dependent on what software that you use. Or are you talking about doing it when you're doing a DVD? That also depends on your program of choice that you're using. Need to know which one that is for me to help you there, sir. Paul wants to know, I'm from Jamaica. What conference is that? Okay, well, let me find the image here. And again, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to publicize it to where I'm like, suggesting for y'all to join, because I don't know the rules of engagement there. So I don't want to flood their stuff. I don't know if they have a limited amount of people who can join this Zoom call, because I think it was meant for the churches in the area of Jamaica. But I will share it with y'all if I can find it on my downloads here. Where is it? So I normally go through and delete my downloads folder so I can keep my stuff clean. And I got way too much stuff on here. You know what? Let me just jump over to my Facebook page because I know that's where I have it. I can get to it a lot faster that way. Let's see. Where's it at? Can't believe I posted that much stuff on here. All right, so here it is. That is what I'm going to be doing as a guest this weekend. So there's the info. And if you're in Jamaica, hey, join up. And I'm just saying as nicely as I possibly can. I can't control y'all. Y'all have free will to do whatever y'all want to. I just want to share that with you. But I don't know the rules of engagement with who's there. I don't know if I don't want to knock anybody out that's there in the community of churches that they're doing. But y'all are more than welcome to join. But if you never know, they may say, hey, can y'all sign off or something like that? I don't know. So I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. Brayson, no, there's no roundtable this week. It's going to be next week. Edward here. My pastor wants to do a monitor at the entrance, but wants to use Chromecast photo gallery to do it. Do you have any other options, ideas? Honestly, yeah, you can use an NDI monitor with one of these thumb drive computers that you can link back directly to it that can play the NDI monitor and send whatever over NDI to it. Like I'm using the NDI output right here in front of me. That's how I'm able to see. It's a bunch of options. You can use the Apple TV. It's a bunch of them that you can use. Let's see. So, Anthony, when you're in OBS, all you got to, when you're in the plugin, type in their name, then click the memory slot. Then just start typing another one and then hit the other memory slot. That's how it's going to save your names that you do. I think we are caught up. And how long have we been going? Because I don't have this up in front of me. Oh, we've been going for an hour and a half. So I think we might be shutting it down for folks. Got a lot of stuff we got to work on, but thank y'all so much. If you haven't, please make sure that you hit that like button. And if you haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Also, just to let you know, I want to thank the patrons for making this possible. We had some new patrons that just came on, so that's why I couldn't add you on there. But you can contribute as little as $1 a month, and that is going to help us fund all of the stuff that we do here, and as well as our YouTube members. Thank you so much. You can choose whichever one that you want. In all honesty, Patreon gives you more freedom in what you can do because I'm limited on what we can and can't do based off of YouTube. Just letting you know. What else? I mentioned this before, and thank y'all so much for actually who did it. I am dropping my other book soon. I am aiming for May 1st for when it to come out. But this one is now called Modern Media Ministry is Now Necessary. This is a guide, a reference guide for different aspects of your ministry, of your digital handle, your website, how to live stream and have the gear to live stream from home and not just your ministry, how to upgrade and communicate and not spam people, how to use technology effectively for your ministry, not as a replacement, but as a tool to help facilitate reaching beyond the four walls. So this is not going to be a book that you like read from beginning to end. You could, but it's going to have different subjects that we go through a process to get your people aware so everybody knows what you're doing and you know what you're doing before you start buying stuff, how to train, give you some mindset of how to do it. And we go through that 2 iterations. And it's just stuff that I share of what I do at my ministry and all the other ministries that I help out with. You can go to books.ajhomes.com and pre-order it. If you pre-order it, I will sign it. You'll be listed in the book as a thank you specifically. And That's it. And for those who asked, I will ship internationally. I will figure it out, a way to get it to you. This is just my way of saying thank you. It's the first 1,000. After that, you have to go to Amazon and everything like that. But hey, if we hit 1,000 and we're not close to May, I might expand it a little bit. It's just, I'm kind of daunting thinking of having to sign 1,000 books. But if y'all do it, I will do it as best as I can. Thank y'all so much for the people who said you like, wait a minute, we got another question real quick. Let me jump it in here. Oasis Church, go ahead and fire it away. And I'm going to go to you as well too, Otis. I've actually had that problem. Like, I upgraded, this is my 500. Where's my other one? I have this 500 gigabyte SanDisk that I use when I connect it to my ATEM to record. And for whatever reason, when I got 1,000, the same brand, but I got 1 terabyte version of this, it was acting up for some odd reason. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know where my other one is. It's probably around here somewhere in my book bag, but I'm gonna hook it up and I'll let you know, Otis, on what's going on. Because mine did show up, but when I started to record to it, it would just stop. So I don't know what's going on with that. The Samsung T7 used to do that, but that was an innate issue with the T7. And people actually had an issue. That's why I had to move to the T5 for my Pocket Cinema camera. But I'm waiting, I'm trying to stall to get to that other question there. So Brinson, you know my pain. You're doing the same thing. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're also media personnel and organist at church. Man, it seems like that's a running theme in media. I had a lot of people saying, AJ, you do music. Why do media? Music can touch people, and video can just engage more senses. So you can have the music, but then you have visual as well too. And that's why I love that combination. Alex was saying, how can you show what's going on in your live in the sanctuary? What do you mean by that? Need some more details on that. Anita, yes, actually that is I'm trying to work on getting a hard copy, but that's going to be a paperback version as of right now that you pre-order for. But once that's done, it is available on Amazon. It's going to be a paperback, and it's going to be available in Kindle when it comes out. The paperback version is $24.99, and I think the Kindle version is, I can't remember what I have it at. I think it's $19.99, I believe. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So yes, they will both be available. All that information will be made available when it's there. Oasis Church, waiting for your question. But either way, if you still got a question for me, any of y'all can hit me up at questions@ajhomes.com, and I would do my best to help you as much as I possibly can. Jack Wolf wanted to know, is there a compressor on my mic? The Rode is doing that. It's adding a compressor. So if I, let me reach over here, and I'm going to turn off all the features that are on this mic. All right, so now all the extra features have just been turned off. Do you notice the difference? So that's why I'm going to turn it back on. All right, and now we are back at that rich sound. That's why I like it so much. I'm going to give a few more seconds just to see if we got any comments come back in here. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to be let me let y'all know some of the videos that are coming down the pipe. I have a video on a beginner's home live streaming guide, which is kind of be appended what I'm talking about in my book as well too. Some of the gear that I would recommend for your pastors, ministers, or whoever, then have them ready to have a miniature studio, affordable miniature studio at home. Ooh, excuse me, so they can live stream from home when need be, whether it be bad weather or we're still not meeting together. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about, I talked about it before, when it comes in, I'm going to do a cost comparison of HDMI to SDI, SDI cable, SDI to HDMI cables versus HDMI fiber optic cables. We're going to be talking about that. What else did I have? I wrote a whole bunch of stuff for my upcoming videos. We're going to be talking about what is a video switcher for those who are doing that. Next one we have is a gut punch type of one. It's what are you afraid of, directed at the ministries who are still not doing anything for almost after a year. So it's not technical. This is more mindset, talking about the importance of stuff. Another one, you're more powerful than you think. Working on a one-page church/ministry website. Also, church essential software, all the software that I use at my church. And 5 more things your media ministry wants you to know about. So those are the videos that are coming down the pipe as well. And last question from John Cook. Does vMix work with scheduled Facebook streams, or does it go live on Facebook as soon as you hit stream in vMix? I'm trying to start in vMix, and when I hit go live in Facebook, but haven't figured it out. Yeah, it does work. It depends on how you have it set up. If you have a scheduled one, it will stream to your scheduled Facebook page, but it won't be available to anybody who's on your page. That's the other thing. I'm glad you said that. I was doing another video on actually making a church Facebook page or group. So thank you for doing that. Let me write that down. Creating a church Facebook page group. But anyway, if you stream to a scheduled Facebook one, yes, it will stream, but it won't be available to whoever's on your page or your group to see it until the scheduled time hit. That's how we used to do it. We would, on our Facebook page, we would start live streaming at 9:50, but we started live streaming at 9:30, but it wouldn't be available until 9:50 for everybody to see. It gave us a 20-minute buffer to make sure everything is working. So hopefully that helps. Thank y'all so much again for watching. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. And if nobody's told you, I appreciate you for all the hard work that you're doing to help your ministry embrace technology and share the message like never before beyond the 4 walls. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. That way you don't miss out when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. Thank you so much. Have a good day, good afternoon, evening, whichever one. Make sure you watch WandaVision, as well as you watch the Mars rover drive around on the red planet. So anyway, folks, we'll talk to y'all later.